My name is Hazim Gaber, and today we're going to be covering a MySQL course. So, what is MySQL and why do you need it? Well, MySQL is a relational database. So, kind of like a giant Excel spreadsheet. You all know what an Excel spreadsheet is. So, it's basically the same thing, except you can talk to it. So you can write commands and it will return results. So you might have also has a lot of tools to merge different workbooks, which we call tables. And we can interact with it using other languages like PHP or C plus or C sharp, or we can talk to it directly. So in this course, we're going to show you how to install MySQL and we're going to administer it. There's a number of ways you can use MySQL tools. You can use PHP admin, or you can use program I like to use is commercial, but it's called SQL Yog. This is the one I prefer. The interacting with the database isn't going to be any different. MySQL is free for small use, and you have to pay for commercial use. There's also a version of SQL made by Microsoft, which is called MSSQL, and it's expensive. And when you buy a server from Microsoft, you might think about buying MSSQL. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start by introduction, how to install SQL on a server, and then how to create a database, and then later how to manage a database, and then how to create and manage tables. We're going to think about some common structures. So depending on the kind of application that you're building, think about types of tables, types of data, number of tables, index, primary key. There's a lot. You can read a book on SQL and you can understand all the commands, but if you build your database without any planning, when your application grows, it's not going to function very well. For example, if you don't have an index and your table becomes a million rows, you won't be able to search very well. Query could take 5 minutes versus 0.1 seconds. Or if you choose a wrong primary key, you may have duplicate data. That won't help. So think about what you're building and then are you building a e-commerce, um, an HR application, a industrial application, financial, CRM, ERP, and then you can think about the type uh, of data that you're going to store. And you may also decide that SQL is not right for you. There's other what we call basically non-relational databases. So now there's like MongoDB, which is good for storing large amounts of data. A lot of social networking uses that. And then we're going to look at uh, obviously the commands. So it's like select, where, and, or, not, delete, insert, limits, like, order by, update. We're going to also look at joins. Um, and then on the DB side, we're going to look at creating and dropping DB/tables, constraints. We're going to look at views, creating views, auto increments. And then we're going to look at some more best practices for storage, backup, high availability. So what happens when you have a massive database and your application is available all over the world? You need to have multiple copies of the database and they need to all sync with each other, or you won't be able to manage. So how do we do that? How do we make sure that our database, which is mission critical, continues to operate no matter what? And we're going to learn about that. Um, any questions?